How's it going, guys? Welcome back to TheBlueShifting and welcome back to the Vampire the Masquerade Coteries of New York, where last time we've got our taste, shall I say, of what it's like being a vampire in this world. We were kind of taken out, we got defeated a few times, kind of got to understand even our powers, which apparently one of our powers is like incredible speed, which is very, very handy. However, we also ran into another vampire who didn't take too kindly to us, threatened to rip us to pieces, effectively. However, we were able to flip the tables on him a little bit and actually brought him in for interrogation and ensuing execution by the Carmilla. So, I guess we're just moving on. That a little bit of intrigue so far, already getting a little interesting there. I have a feeling we're about to be introduced into some of the side stories that we can start picking up that the game has promised, but apparently also some of you said that this game is fairly short. I'm not sure what that exactly means, but I don't think there's much else we can learn besides just jumping into it head first, so let's just go for it and see how it plays out, shall we? This time, you arrive at another building, just 2 streets across from your apartment. She brings you upstairs, through the very nice lobby and a luxurious-looking hall, into her domain. This is Sophie. Please, have a seat. I shall be right with you. You take you into your surroundings. Your apartment's like a gallery, an old-school smoking room that you've seen in some period piece once. It's a nouveau riche, I have no idea. French, I don't get French, man. It's a rich, really nice living room, meticulously combined together. Apologies, old habits die hard. Clearly, some stick with you even after your death. She drags on her cigarette and breathes out breaths. How is she doing that? Can you do that? Oh yes, you might not know. It takes some practice, but you can keep smoking if you'd like. Other things too. Experiment. You might surprise yourself. You know, considering the fact that you really probably can't get cancer, I mean, if that's what you want to do, it's what you want to do. But I did not bring you here to show off. This is where I rest these nights. That door in the back, the bedroom, similar to yours. I have servants and bodyguards in addition, of course. Brought you here because I need you to trust me. Where I told you before I needed your best behavior to uphold my good standing with the court, I meant it. But that's not the whole story. Of course it's not the whole story. Why on earth would it be as simple as just keep in line? I have your interests in mind, too. That's why I give you your own haven. That's why I'm trying to teach you how to navigate this new reality. But you need to trust me, or else this won't work. You can come here whenever you feel like asking me something, when you're in trouble, too. Though I hope that won't happen often. I would ask you to come here when you wake up tomorrow. I'll have something to discuss with you. Why not discuss it right now? Why not talk right now since we're here together? I still need to follow up on a few things before we speak. Patience, fledgling. That silence again. There's definitely something on Sophie's mind tonight, but she doesn't seem eager to share it with you just yet. I'm leaving for another visit. Come downstairs with me. We'll give you a lift. A quick trip. Promise that you'll show up tomorrow, and some polite goodbyes later, you open the door to your haven and gather your thoughts. This was pretty much just to show us where to go. It's exciting, in a way, being dragged deeper and deeper into the secret society and its rules. Whatever Sophie has planned for you, it's bound to teach you more about this thing you have become. You sink into your vampiric sleep with just a sliver of hope. It's a welcome change. So I'm guessing, like even if our intentions will not be to work with her in the future, I want to go visit her because I want her to at least, while she's giving me what I need, I want her to feel like I'm on her side. If I want to get on her bad side, I want to save it for when the opportunity's right. Strike when the iron's hot. Not really a good idea to preemptively make enemies. Once more, why am I talking in her voice? I gotta scroll up for this one. Once more, darkness falls upon the city. You wake up, same as you have the past few nights, in a windowless room. As you pry open the reinforced steel door, you look out the window to see, invariably, a sky bereft of sunlight. And then it hits you, the hunger. For a moment, you let yourself wonder if there will ever come a night when it's just not there. Given what you've learned thus far, you probably have as much chance of kickstarting your heart with jumper cables. You lock the apartment behind you and head over to Sophie's apartment. You did promise to call on her. Might as well not keep the lady waiting. And hey, what else are you gonna do? Call M. She's probably worried. At least she will be once she actually tries to give you a call, which might not happen for a few more weeks, months, if she's busy doing press for her new piece. You could try and track down your sire, but if the sheriff hasn't done that already, after all, he did buy your painting. There has to be a money trail, right? But even if so, what would you say to him? These thoughts pull you into a weird mood. It's a strange sensation to walk the crowded streets, same as you have these many times before, but feeling so disconnected. All these people, you're not one of them, not anymore. You're a vampire, Kindred. If you need to carve your path to strange new existence, one way or another. Appropriately enough, you arrive at Sophie's building just as that thought crosses your mind. A quick word with the security guard and you're led into the elevator. Apparently, Miss Langley is expecting you. Of course she is. You knock and wait, patiently, as the footsteps on the other side grow closer. Finally the door opens and Gregory, Sophie's driver, invites you in. You find the lady herself standing by the window, silhouetted against the city's midnight glow. She stares out, motionless like a marble statue. Interesting. Good evening, Sophie. She doesn't react immediately, but seems to snap out of some meditative state and looks at you with strange, bleary eyes. Yes, good evening, Protag. I was wondering, when you look out at this city, when you see the lights and hear the hum, smells of the rain on the pavement, what do you think about? You gaze out. You thought the city couldn't surprise you anymore. You've lived here all your life, after all, but tonight something feels different. You realize in this moment that you have truly changed. Yes, you know what Sophie means. The way she gazes out that window and saw the truth beyond, you do the same. The view is fascinating, every detail so absorbing, even at every angle a new experience, the familiar is made sublime. When you turn to Sophie again, she smiles at you knowingly. Ah, so you understand. I had my doubts, but perhaps we share a lineage after all. Wonder what that is. Does that just mean we're part of the same clan? You see, the blood that flows within me is that of Clan Torador. Oh, I forgot. Notes. Clan Torador. Many Torador emerge from the ranks of accomplished artists, both new and faded, but not all artists need to wield a brush. To a Torador, art encompasses all forms of entertainment and stimulation. The clan of the Rose Court is courts the greatest actors, singers, writers, dancers, and even sex workers. If the degenerates believe such mortals will offer something new to their clan. Despite the customs of embracing only the best, the Torador fixation on beauty and innocence has caused many a diva to make a fledgling in haste. Many a moonlit night, new clan members have emerged as shallow hedonists, one-hit wonders, or just a stunning body with nothing else to offer. Nicknames: divas, harlots, sensates, perverts, hedonists, and degenerates. Lovely. Glad that we're in a bloodline of Empire's heritage, she also clan. There are 13 such bloodlines amongst us, Kindred, though that number has been contested in the past, and these nights it seems that nothing is certain anymore. The clans have gone by many epithets over the years, but the names used these nights have their roots in medieval times, the original Inquisition, if you can believe it. They used these to categorize us, describe our inherent differences. In time, we adopted them ourselves. Each clan has a uniqueness about it, insatiable, originating from an ancient progenitor, carried from sire to child. For the Torador, the gift lies in a sensitivity of sorts. We are uniquely attuned to beauty and ugliness both. We can see either where most cannot, a blessing on most nights, occasionally a curse. The sheriff is of my clan as well, although you'd be hard-pressed to see him as such, poor Quadir. It breaks my heart to see him in this state. Still, there is a beauty to it as well, nothing like a good fall from grace. Try as she might to act playfully, you can tell she genuinely cares. She lets her gaze wander for a brief moment, but is quick to regain her composure. Then there are the Venture, known for their pride as a proclivity for rules over others. The prince represents that clan, as is quite common in our society around the globe. That's the one I really felt a pull to, but I was hesitant to choose because I was kind of pulled in both directions. So Clan Venture. While many other clans claim positions of influence in mortal politics and business, no one can rival the Venture in the game of pure power and wealth. They have long been the leaders of the Carmilla, holding more positions of power than any other clan. They are loath to give that up. The adventurer believe in strength of tradition and lineage. Embrace is one of the most important rituals, and the choice of Chelde affects the way the other members of the clan treat the sire. The adventurer therefore aim to embrace overachievers, political or financially powerful kind, or those who have a talent that sets them apart from the masses. They maintain that they are destined to rule all kindred, no matter the sacrifices involved. Their detractors call them little lords, Borgans, and tyrants. Those who respect the venture for keeping the Carmilla together use the terms like blue bloods, patricians, or warlords. See, reading that makes me feel like I actually picked the better one. I don't know if I would consider myself a great artist or anything, but I definitely feel a stronger pull towards creating, towards making something, or talking about something, like about the human condition and everything. Like, I'm not a great creator of any kind, but I definitely feel like I'm a more creative type than lordly and money-wise. I think I can be a good leader, and I can take charge when necessary, but I'm never going to be somebody who's like wants a massive amount of power or wealth. I don't have that pull. I have plenty of drive, but not drive to do that. Alright. Where the blue bloods think themselves rulers, the Bruja like to see themselves as permanent revolutionaries. They call for universal rebellion while being slaves to their own temper. So this is the first one, right? Clan Bruja have always embraced from the ranks of those sympathetic to the counterculture and revolution. They seek out allies who question the normative ideas and recognize the fire of the oppressed. They gravitate towards the underdog. Common perceptions place punks, gang members, maladjusted immigrants rejected by their society that should have protected them, and placard carrying and Molotov wielding rioters among the Bruja. While the above is sometimes true, the clan adheres to no single ideology, and their desire for dissent reaches as deep as the fraudist ripping off his own company, the lawyer representing the poor pro bono, the neo-Nazi claiming to be alt-right, fetch man, calling it out, huh? And the basement-dwelling downloading thousands of movies illegally for redistribution on streaming sites. Fledglings embrace to fight and protest are commonly referred to as rebels, punks, or rabble. Nope, not a good match for me. I'm not a man to kick the hornet's nest. I think rules are important. They need to be followed carefully, not just accepted wholeheartedly without question, but they're there for a reason. We don't discuss the rabble very much anymore, not after they've largely broken off with the Camarilla. To think they were philosophers once long ago. I hope to tell you more about some of the other bloodlines tonight. How can I tell a kindred clan? I say I meet a vampire for the first time. How can I tell what their clan is? Usually you cannot, with a few exceptions perhaps. For some clans, the uniqueness I mentioned bleeds into their appearance or disposition, but even that can be misleading. Outside of a few very specific cases, knowing one's clan is less important than understanding who they are personally, what drives them, their wants and needs, weaknesses too. Speaking of which, we've come to the reason I want to speak with you tonight. It is customary in our society, especially among younger kindred, to organize into courtiers. Sometimes these are called by the prince themselves, or mandated by the fledgling sire. In our case, you may treat it as more of a strong recommendation. I want you to seek out companions, not only because you need to learn more about our society, but also because it is useful. True friendships are rare among kindred, but having allies, even temporary ones, is something of a necessity these nights. We might be selfish creatures, but we are drawn to each other nonetheless. Where should I look for allies? It's a really good question, honestly. Any suggestions on where I should start looking? I was just about to get to that. She puts on a mysterious smile. I spent some of my precious time last night asking around, pondering potential kindred for you to meet, and came up with a short list of contacts. I hope you'll appreciate the gesture. Forging a partnership with them might offer perspective and viewpoints I cannot provide, lenses through which to view your own kind. They are all members of the Camarilla, of course, more or less.
What's that mean?
Okay, who are they? I mean, it does feel like she's choosing my friends for me, and I might not have to listen, but at the same time, I have nothing to go with. I better go with something, even if it's something she approves of. Alright then, let's hear it. Who's on the list? Eager to learn about them, I see. Good, I'm glad. So let us start with the Temera. They are a powerful clan, disliked by many, but feared and respected by many more. They have been an important pillar in the Camarilla since the very beginning. They are blood sorcerers. Ooh, that sounds cool. I think their clan you can be in the new game coming up, like a Vampire Bloodlines 2. Hermetic mage of 8th century Romania. Tremera was the leader of a cabal of magic users rightfully feared for their obsession with knowledge and power. Unwilling to accept his own mortality, Tremera cast his eyes to the hallowed secret of immortality. In his greed, the mage instigated the most terrifying magical experiments ever conducted, damning himself and his followers to a hell of their own making. Terrified, they died and woke again to an eternity of unlife and hunger, cut off from their craft. In a mockery of their former magical rituals, now only fresh blood allows the Tremera to cast their thaumaturgic spells to twist reality. Their clan is organized like an initiatory occult order, recently fractured into a number of competing houses, each claiming to be the rightful heir of Tremera's legacy. They see true power as knowing the ways of shaping the world, having access to the right blood, and owning the rarest of ancient artifacts. They're usually referred to as warlocks, hemetics, and transgressors. Ooh. They sound cool. Blood sorcerers? You could swear you once saw them play in Apollo. Probably not the same blood sorcerers, though. Sophie snickers. Oh, child, do not be caught up with don't be caught with that look on your face when you meet a warlock in person. They really are adept at using vitae, their own as well as others, to unique and potent effects. So, vitae, an archaic term for the blood of a vampire. Since they are quite rigid in their hierarchy, the kindred I have in mind for you might need some persuading. His name is Agathon. From what I hear, he's quite the scholar, very ambitious, the child of a noted Tremera here in New York. Aisling Sutterbridge spent enough time with Agathon, and I'm sure you'll run into her sooner or later. Blood magic, intriguing. This whole blood magic thing sounds intriguing. Oh yes, fascinating. It is also a well-kept secret of the Tremera. Don't expect them to share it right away. Some things have to be earned. Anyway, if you wish to contact the young Tremera, I hear you can usually find him in the New Age bookstore on Broadway. The Tremera have one of their workshops there. Gregory will give you the details. Now the next recommendation comes with a bit of a caveat. As you recall me saying, most bloodlines have unique features that might not be obvious at first glance. Well, as one clan whose members wear their curse on their sleeves. Yeah, they're the ones that look like bat people. The Nosferatu. Alright, Nosferatu. The clan of the hidden are known under many names. Hives, lepers, sewer rats, carnies, scabs, orlocks, fetch. But few of them sound pleasant. For the Nosferatu, the embrace is a journey through abjection, as the blood of their horror gradually deforms the struggling tissue of the human body into grotesque abominations. Weeks of pain result in deformities similar to terrible birth defects, cancerous growths, crippling injuries, and leper-like sores. Those who endure it find themselves as monstrous echoes of Manura's silver screen version, but perhaps pain and humiliation teaches compassion. Nosferatu, as they're jokingly called themselves, are the most humane of the kindred, wearing their curse on their outside rather than in the inside. To blend in, some call on the blood to wear borrowed faces of their victims or disappear from sight, while others rely on prosthetic or heavy makeup. Interesting. So, to teach compassion, they're jokingly, they are the most humane of the kindred. That's an interesting angle I'd never considered. Wait, Nosferatu, as in the German expressionist classic? No way. No wonder they make their havens in sewers, abandoned buildings, and such. Their appearance is hideous and obviously unnatural. Had they walked the streets like other kindred, their kind would have learned of our existence long ago. Did she just shudder? Tried to tell with her usual complexion, but you could swear her skin suddenly took on an even more sickly color. I have one in mind that isn't as big an eyesore as the worst of them, but he's no Adonis either. Still, he has some talents and connections you might find useful. His name is D'Angelo, and he has an office, for lack of a better term. in the otherwise abandoned grain terminal in Red Hook, right next to one of those Swedish stores. The name escapes me. The one with the awful furniture.
Oh, near an IKEA. What, IKEA? A Swedish furniture store? You mean IKEA?
Yes, that's it. My mind struggles to retain things that are aesthetically displeasing. D'Angelo does odd jobs for Quadrille, digging up dirt, locating kindred who would prefer to be hidden, the kind of work the Nosferatu are best at. He's on a case right now, something to do with kind murders, I think. After your initial brush with our dear sheriff, I think it would be wise to show some goodwill toward his agenda. Assisting D'Angelo's investigation might just be the thing.
She takes a brief pause to look out the window again.
Now come to more exotic proposals.
Exotic? Is this the blood mage and the vampire detective, or business as usual?
You may have heard about the Gangrel before. They are a wild clan, in touch with their beast in a way others might not dare attempt. They mostly keep out of big cities, but there are exceptions.
Alright. Clan Gangrel. Guessing it sounds very similar to Grendel. Clan Gangrel are outcasts, wanderers, rogues, and hunters. They make havens in the poorest parts of the city and feel no shame for doing so. They claim few domains as their own, but they defer to no prince. As the pharaoh enters the city, the prince will either accept it or have to fight the pharaoh to get them to back down. Gangrel embrace from the ranks of survivors and fighters, leaders of prison crews and gangs, explorers, urban and otherwise, and any kind who see the world as something to traverse instead of something to hide from. They care not for looks or titles, but for accomplishment and reputation. They are commonly referred to as wolves, ferals, and outcasts, or in a more derogatory manner as animals, strays, and savages. Fascinating.
Normally they haven't been part of the Camarilla for over 2 decades, but the one kindred I would like you to meet has a strong, shall we say, familial ties to the sect. Her name is Tamika. That's it. Her sire, Jezebel, was instrumental during the Battle of New York back in 1999, the very same battle that cemented the city as a Camarilla domain.
Must be a reference to greater lore. Anyone know what that battle was about? Maybe give me a summary? That'd be nice.
Sadly, her achievements have gone largely unrecognized. Tamika and a number of her siblings still reside in the domain they were awarded after the battle, Prospect Park. Jezebel herself left the city some years ago, fed up with being underappreciated.
Should I contact non-Camarilla clans? I got the impression contacting vampires who aren't in the Camarilla is frowned upon, but you say these Gangrel aren't a part of the sect anymore. How does that work?
It's not as clear-cut. The Gangrel as a whole have sworn off the Camarilla, but individual kindred of that clan can still hold our ideals. Jezebel was one of them, before she became jaded. Besides, their domain as Prospect Park has been upheld by Prince Panhard for all these years, has it not? We consider them members of the sect, and they have, for the most part, kept to themselves. Perhaps it will take a young kindred such as yourself to make them realize where their loyalties lie. See, seeking out Tamika could prove quite educational, if nothing else. And who knows, perhaps you will find her temperament to be a welcome change of pace. But speaking of change of pace, I have one last suggestion for you, though this one I don't make lightly. The kindred who calls herself Hope. She's a Malkavian. They are a uniquely cursed clan. For centuries we considered them mad, insane, unhinged. But those of us who spent enough time with them come to understand the truth.
Okay, these guys sound weird. Psychologists would diagnose the children of the Malkav with schizophrenia, depression, obsessive-compulsive disorder, or post-traumatic stress disorder. Sometimes all at once. Oh, that sounds like a nightmare. In reality, the clan of the moon are all of these things and none. Like the wise madmen of poetry, their derangement stems from seeing too much of the world at once, from understanding too deeply and feeling emotions that are too strong to bear. They self-medicate with blood, but that's just a temporary solution. All Malkavians suffer mental illness following the embrace, sometimes accentuating an existing condition, and other times adding new dimensions to their instability. As if their thoughts and actions were based on otherworldly logic, there seems to be no knowing what their condition will manifest destructively or whether it will offer more important perspectives where such were previously lacking. So if you're already mentally unstable, it can either make you worse or make you better. They are referred to as oracles, jesters, and visionaries, or in a more insulting manner as madmen,
Liabilities and lunatics. Fetch. Liabilities.
It is no sickness, but a unique perspective of the world that has them appear to be unstable, and their perception can prove to be very valuable. Having a Malkavian as your companion might be taxing on the nerves and a true test of patience at times, but their insight and intuition are unrivaled among kindred. As for Hope, specifically, she is said to be a recluse, but I have it on good authority that she can currently be found in an internet cafe, I believe it's called, in Lower Manhattan. Gregory has the address.
Interesting. Hope sounds like a geek, so I might be able to get along with Hope in a weird way. Where did you learn about Hope? Where did you learn about her exactly?
One of my colleagues told me about her. He considers her uniquely talented and tapped into her current fads among kind. Not something I'm personally interested in, as I'm sure you know by now. I've taken his word for it, at any rate. Well, I believe that's all of them. Still have a few social calls to make tonight, so I'll leave it to it. Use tonight and tomorrow night to arrange some cordial visits of your own. I will send Gregory for you as soon as I have further need of your services. Oh, and that reminds me. You will need a car. Join us downstairs, won't you?
She smiles once more and turns to her driver. He helps her put on her coat. The three of you leave Sophie's apartment. Sophie points to one of the cars near the building as Gregory hands you the keys. Ooh, it's a rather inconspicuous compact car, a decent looking if not luxurious ride.
Stay safe, Protag. This is your first night alone. Don't let it be your last.
As they drive away, you find yourself with more freedom than you've had in the past few nights. A blessing or a burden, time will tell. With a list of addresses in your hand, you consider your next move. There we go. I don't know how I'm doing on blood, but I'm not sure who to talk to. I'm guessing maybe she's Hope, the one with the tattoos. And she probably is Tamira. He's probably the Nafu, sorry, they're the guy living under the bridge. And he might be the blood mage uptown. So I'm going to try Kindred Magic. Sophie mentioned a vampire clan of blood sorcerers sparking your attention. One of them, Agathon, could potentially be your instructor into the bizarre power of Tremira. I honestly find him most interesting. And then Hope is probably the next one I want to go for. I don't get to pick all of these. But man, Blood Mage just sounds cool. You arrive at the address given you by Sophie. Small bookstore smack dab in the middle of Broadway of all places. What really catches you off guard, though, is the store's display. From what you've heard about the Tremira, they are infamous for their ties to the occult and mystical. And yet, looking at the oddball collection of items in the display window, it all feels borderline satirical. The books here cover everything from Ayurvedic practices and homeopathy and wellness and self-motivation. The vaguely amusing juxtaposition is still not there either. You notice a copy of Anton's LaVey's Satanic Bible tucked behind a cheap, smiling Buddha. Fetch. A scientific journal on hematology stands next to a teen-oriented pamphlet on the blood-type personality theory. A number of religious and quasi-religious symbols, lockets, pins, and various emblazoned paraphernalia are haphazardly strewn across the display and between the tomes. Before you even open the door, you can smell the burning incense and hear the corny, Far East tinging music seeping through the crackling speakers mounted above the entrance. It's a much more quaint than what you expected, and from what Sophie told you about the so-called warlock, it doesn't look like they have much interest in impressing outsiders. Then again, if there's anything you've learned about these past few nights, his appearances can be deceiving. I mean, how else would you disguise your hideout as vampire clan if making it look like satirical? At this time of night, the shop appears to be closed. Regardless, you ring the bell. You hear someone shuffling around inside. A brief moment later, the latch slides and the door is pushed open just a few inches. A tired-looking blonde in loose clothes appears at the crack. She seems confused, like you just woke her up. She lets out a yawn, scratching at her tattooed neck. Finally, she squints in your general direction. Her pierced lip curves into an awkward smile. Got anything on vampires? Nice place you got here. Got anything on vampires? The girl gives you a suspicious look over, but opens the door and takes a few steps back, and you hear footsteps coming from behind the floral curtain that covers the back door. A bespectacled, smart-looking woman emerges and looks straight at you. Ooh, she looks pretty.
Come in and follow me. Just don't touch anything, please.
You follow her through the store. Inside, as expected, the stuffy air smells of sandalwood, frankincense, and a dozen other aromas. The woman leads you behind the curtain and through a back door into a rickety staircase. A flight of steps takes you to the second story. You instantly notice a change in decor, as the tacky New Age bookstore gives way to something resembling a cross between a library and a workshop. The smell in here is strong too, but much more layered. You're not sure what to make of it at first, but with each whiff it becomes apparent. Blood. The aroma, though subtle at first, soon becomes overpowering. You take a moment to adapt to your focus. I don't think you'd know who you're speaking with, so I'll introduce an introduction is in order. My name is Aisling's Sturbridge, and I am the High Regent of the Chantry of the Five Boroughs. Okay, so Chantry, a traditional name for the Tremera headquarters in the city, usually part shelter, part library, and part laboratory. And Regent. Every Chantry has a Regent. The Regent is responsible for the tutelage of all other Tremera in the domain. While the Regent may not teach them personally, she must ensure all Tremera are being educated. The Regent's other duties extend to the clan's protection in the domain and sometimes representation on the Primogen Council. Yeah, I think I'm definitely signing up for this clan in the game, because my gosh, they sound cool. You are a protag, correct? I have to say, you're lucky the ward outside the building is only there for notifications tonight, otherwise it would have been quite unpleasant. I heard you talk to the girl downstairs. The line about vampires was a nice touch. Now tell me, other than casually breaking the masquerade, is there anything else you're interested in? Oh, whoopsies. High Regent sounds important. High Regent of the Chantry of the Five Boroughs. That's quite a mouthful. It might sound fancy, but that's because there's a well-established tradition behind it. One you'd be wise not to ridicule. Some might take offense. Me, for one. I'm not doing good first impression-wise. What is it that you're here for? I was expecting to find Agathon here. I didn't expect to meet you here. I came to find Agathon and talk to him about working together. As you might have gathered, he is busy at the moment, so am I, in fact. So unless there's anything else. Suddenly a man enters in the side room. Doesn't even look at you. Lost in his own thoughts. I have it, Aisling. I think I know what I have to find. I think I know how to find it. He catches himself as he notices you. His face turns sour. A visitor. Yes, we were just discussing you, in fact. Is that so? Let me introduce myself. My name's Protag. I've been told you might be interested in teaming up. Teaming up? He seems very confused by the notion. What for? I could assist you in your work. I can be quite helpful, knowing I can count on someone in return to favor. Is that right? He seems to consider it, then turns to Aisling. High Regent, may I ask your advice on this? Aisling looks to you with a nary a sign of emotion. I believe that you are more than capable of carrying out your task, my child. I do not think any assistance will be necessary. Oddly enough, he seems somewhat disappointed. Your confidence in me is appreciated, High Regent. It has been earned. So it is settled, then. I would kindly ask you leave, fledgling. We have many matters to discuss. Matters not for undiscerning ears. Both of the warlocks look at you expectantly. Wait, I didn't mean any disrespect. Wait, please, I didn't mean any disrespect. I'm sorry if we started off on the wrong foot. You only get one shot at first impressions and you miss yours by a mile. So if you can think of anything clever to say, now would be a good time. Otherwise, you know where the door is. I'm not sure if I can say anything to fix this. Asking what I can do to make it up to you just sounds like begging. Us hoping for a partnership also sounds kind of weak. I'm offering my help if you need it. Maybe that is good because then they might be able to seek me out later. I came here willingly to offer help, should you need it. That offer still stands. Your thoughts, Agathon? I believe I can handle the task alone, High Regent.
I have full confidence in you, my child, as always. However, I know this fledgling is utterly hopeless at making a good first impression, but I think you should give them a chance to prove their worth. Just one chance, tonight. Why don't you start by giving our intern here a brief explanation of what it is you're after?
Agathon gives Aisling a hesitant look, but the woman nods approvingly. Encouraged, she turns toward you. A member of our clan disappeared without a trace a handful of nights ago. While the High Regent investigates if any foul play was involved, I have been tasked with recovering her research notes, if there is anything left to recover, that is. I may have an idea of where to start looking, and I suppose this is where you come in. If you truly wish to help, I could use your assistance tonight, right now in fact. Given the time we just wasted on idle chatter, it should leave immediately. Who's the missing person? And the missing Kindred. Who is he? A single glance at Aisling is enough. You can tell you're not getting an answer, at least for now. We're after her research. That's what you should focus on. These people aren't in the habit of making things simple. Facing layers upon layers of secrecy, you can only hope that what lies beneath is the real deal. I'm heading out. Are you coming or not? Sure, I'll join you. Sure, I'll join you. Very well. He gives Aisling a slight bow. High Regent, with your permission. She nods.
Before you go, however, defer to Agathon in all things. Our clan values obedience above everything else. Prove you can follow, and this might turn out a mutually beneficial relationship. I will await his return and his report. Good luck, my child,
Agathon bows again and heads out, urging you to follow. The High Regent watches you leave. Outside, Agathon leads you to his car. It's almost funny seeing him get behind a wheel. Somehow you'd expect more mystical means of transportation. You drive south, heading for the Lower East Side. Agathon seems lost in thought. Either that or he's a very careful driver. Either way, several minutes pass in silence. I hate how everyone glares at us in the rearview mirror. I want to ask him where we're going. Williamsburg. There's a place there our missing colleague frequented. He seems to be thinking of the right words before he decides to address you again. Let me ask you something. Why me? There's likely a couple hundred of us kindred in New York. Hey, you seek me out specifically. Why? I don't think it would take too much digging to find out that Sophie was the one asking around, and I think it makes sense, so I'm going to go ahead and say it. For one, Sophie spoke highly of you. She gave me a short list of people to meet, and you were on it. I see. Once more, he grows silent. You're unsure whether to continue prying as your driver seems to disappear into his thoughts. You drive into Williamsburg and stop by a fancy-looking building. We're here. There's a restaurant at the top floor. You wanted to help, so here's your chance. I need you to get us inside the VIP lobby. Once we're in, I need about half an hour focus and some space. It'll be up to you to keep attention away from the room. Can you do it? He doesn't wait for an answer and points to the front door. Go ahead. I'm right behind you. The two of you take the elevator up to the restaurant. The door opens and you see that there are only a few guests left sitting at their tables. An important-looking staff member approaches you. Good evening. I'm very sorry, but the restaurant is closing for the night. I can make a reservation for next week if you wish. I'm the special kind of client. No, I think we can get in now. We're special clients, if you know what I mean. I don't think I do. Apologies. But it is company policy. No exceptions. Would you like to make a reservation? I think this is a good time to use our presence, actually. It's fine. We can come in. Hey, it's all good. We can come in. We'll be the VIP lobby. It won't take long. The man blinks. A confused smile appears on his face. Yes, of course. Not a problem. Please, come right in. You walk in, trying to look casual, and make your way towards the VIP lobby. You step inside and close the door behind you. It's a nice place, very highbrow, lots of old, expensive-looking furniture and private rooms to discuss any sort of business one discusses when you're that rich. Your companion looks at you with something akin to admiration, or at least that's how you choose to interpret it, the slight change in his usual somber facade. Not bad. Not bad at all. He inspects the room, and it's unusually cold, and Agathon soon discovers why. Looking by the curtain, a window hangs open. The handle lock look like they've been dissolved as if with acid. Gosh darn it, Juno. Looks like she's gone. Whoever Juno is, looks like she's no longer here. A flash of fury sparkles in his eyes. Yeah, no kidding. He takes a frantic look around the room. This changes things. Keep an eye on the door. I'll need some time. Half an hour at the very least. Nobody disturbs me. Understand? He hastily pushes a couch and some potted plants out of the way, moves to a bar stool, takes out a curved knife, cutting into his own arm. He lets some of his blood drip onto the wooden floor. It's pretty effed up, the way his flesh oozes the deep red, thick vitae. In life, he'd have found his stomach churning, but right now you feel weirdly turned on by the sight. What follows is more disturbing yet. With one hand, he sheaths the knife and seals the wound. With the other, he smears the blood around him while muttering some weird chant. It sounds vaguely like Latin, but you're pretty sure it isn't. It's all more than a little disconcerting, but he seems to know what he's doing. A few moments later, the circle starts glowing faintly as thin wisps of smoke surround Agathon. He sits down in the middle, crosses his legs, eyes closed, and minutes pass. Agathon's face twitches from time to time. His head turns every now and then, as if he was looking around or listening in on a conversation. The smoke grows thicker, forming a veil around the mage. You expect something more flashy, but it's still a sight to behold. You wonder what the point is of it, but refrain from asking. It's probably best to let Agathon do his thing. For close to 30 minutes, you're left to your own devices. Then suddenly the door opens slightly and the manager leans into the room. You attentive for a second, but he just gives you an awkward smile. Anything you need? You shoo him away before he can take a closer look at your companion, and he retreats obediently. 2 minutes later, Agathon casually gets up from the floor and walks over to the sofa. He pushes his hand between the cracks in the upholstery and fishes something out. He then turns to you and nods. We're done here. Let's go. You make your way back to the elevator, passing the manager on your way. He gives you a slight, somewhat confused smile, but neither him nor any of his staff get in your way. Despite that, the elevator ride down feels tense, and the two of you only relax once inside Agathon's car. He starts the engine and takes a ride at the Continental Army Plaza, back onto the bridge. You're just about to say something, but he beat you to it. That went better than I expected, all things considered. It might have been a trick of the light, but you're pretty sure you just saw a smile. I'm used to working alone, but what I'm dealing with right now might require some more assistance, and you seem more capable enough. I can do more, you know. I can do more than watch your back while you're channeling Madame Blavatsky. Can you now? I guess we'll find out next time. That seems to deplete his social battery for the night. You drive the rest of the way in silence. It doesn't take you long to reach the warlock's hideout. Agathon waves you absent-mindedly, once again lost in his thoughts, hopelessly so. One of these nights, you should probably take him up on his offer. Who knows, if you gain his trust, maybe you can actually break through his stoic facade and meet the man underneath. I like him already. That guy's cool. Ooh. Oh, looks like it's almost dawn, so I think I have to... Yeah, I don't think I can do anything more. But next, I want to go to Hope. We shall rest. You notice something strange by the front door of your haven. A letter's been slipped under the door in a cream-colored, old-fashioned envelope. There's no name on it, but you know it's meant for you. Opening the letter, it's clear it's been sent by someone incredibly old-fashioned. Rich or a fan of the classic stationery, no normal person sends letters like this. Sophie. The note is short and terse, written in elegant, delicate handwriting. You are cordially invited to rendezvous at the Cathedral of St. John the Divine. I'll be waiting to make your acquaintance tomorrow night. Look for me closer to God. There's no other information. Looks like you have a mysterious invitation for the following night. Interesting. Well, probably a good idea. Ooh, so we can do him again, and we got an invitation in this new bubble. Faith and Myth Part 1. And it's only for this night, so we might want to do that. Ooh, interesting. Interesting. I like this. I like the game setup so far. This looks very intriguing indeed. I think we're going to stop here. Again, it's a little shorter, but it's a good place to stop if I do something more from this point. I feel like I'm going to get so sucked into something that I'm not going to want to stop. So we're going to go ahead and take a break here. But yeah, intriguing. And I like how we're going to be picking different routes. I'm guessing I won't be able to have all of them as my followers. Maybe it'll give me enough time to be able to like meet everybody and talk to them. But like I said, I'm really interested in Agathon, or what? I just forgot his name. What's his name? Click it. It is Agathon. Yeah, that's right. Agathon. I think he's very cool already. I want to learn more about his clan, and I think that he's a very interesting character. This is a weird invitation. Hope sounds similar to me. Very interesting. This is the guy who, like, knows the underground, and then Jezebel's Childer. Like, they both sound interesting, too. Like, they all sound interesting, but I have to put 1 and 2 over here. But we'll get to all that next time. Anyone have any thoughts or anything you wanted to point out? Like I said, there's like some kind of battle in 1999. What was that all about? That sounds really interesting. I'd love to hear more about it. Otherwise, what did you think of Agathon? Like in the whole, like, Agathon. What did you think of Agathon and his blood magic? Is that something really interesting? Is that something you also want to learn more about? Or maybe one of the other individuals, was one of them sounding more interesting to you? And then I guess another good question would be too, like, out of the clans you've heard about, or maybe the ones I haven't heard about yet, what clans do you associate with the most? Or like, would you find the most compelling? Do you want to like learn more or like think is the most interesting? Just anything you'd like to share, I'd love to read it. But I guess that's all for tonight. So thank you so much for being here today. Thank you so much for joining me on the channel. It's always such a pleasure having you here. And so until the next video, watch me, you have to see me next. I'll see you there.